Tutorial for those who are coming in. I'm doing tutorial on what to disenchant and what to keep for those of you who actually need a dust. And I'm gonna base this on my knowledge on constructed sin at the moment. That means that it's just my opinion. It's not absolute opinion on everyone else. It's just my personal own. And so, if you're relatively new to the game, you're gonna need the dust to create cards, and disenchanting cards such as this golden card, Savagery right here, is a good way to earn dust, especially if it's epic card. Golden epic will give you as much as legendary. Let's see. Alright, let's cover from common. Wait, no, let's start from legendary. So all the class cards are pretty good. Only thing that aren't used if you're playing that specific class probably is a... I don't actually know if there is any. Like King Crush isn't really used, but it's so iconic that you might want to keep it. Same goes for Villain. But there are some legendaries that I will disenchant. Doesn't matter how many I get. I'm gonna disenchant that like as soon as I get it, if I need the dust for it. Except that I don't need it since I have 10,000 gold or something. Anyways, so let's just not consider class cards because I don't know which class you're playing and I don't know which class you are attracted to, and you probably want to keep the class legendary card. So on neutral there are Loker Cho. This is a little bit odd, like some people actually like to use Loker Cho, but me personally I want to build a solid deck when I build it, not a gimmicky deck, so Cho is out of question. It's out. Same goes to Milhouse Mana Storm. Like if you draw this card after turn 5, which is likely since by turn 5 you will only draw a third of the deck at most of time. Milhouse should be gone. Net Pegels, you can use this in like Ram 3 deck, but even then, like, it's not the best card. You should disenchant this card in my opinion if you get it. Same goes for Tinkmaster, like transfer another random minion into 5/5 or 1/1 Squirrel at cost of 3/3. If you're playing Control Warrior and you have no way to deal with the concealed rogue, this is the only way, except that if you are playing Control Warrior with Tinkmaster, Deathwing, and other legendary cards, you probably don't need to disenchant it. So what else? Cards to... oh yeah, I will consider disenchanting Gruul. It's basically giant when you end your turn. It's 8/8 for 8. Like I said, it's 8/8 for 8. Compared to Ragnaros, this is like 8/8 for 8 with a charge at random target. Yeah, it's a 2. If the game didn't have Ragnaros, then I might suggest keeping Gruul, but it's a too big. It can be easily removed with the big game hunter. It's not worth keeping in your arsenal. And no star remove 8/8 for 9, which is worse. Player only takes 15 seconds to take their turns, which is great against America Rogue if you can survive until turn 9. You probably would have won anyways if you had to play Nostromo. Those are the cards that I will definitely disenchant, and cards to consider disenchanting are Beast. This card is rarely used. In vanilla test, this guy is a 6/4 for 6 mana, which is kind of terrible. Unless you silence it. Naxxramas patch is coming out in near future, and this might somehow be useful, except that all the death rattles in Naxxramas is beneficial for you, whereas this one is not, so unlikely will be used anyways. And Hugger is one of the cards that I consider disenchanting, since it's too easily removed in any of the removals for... and like if these cards need to survive for 3 turns to make it even, 2 turns to make it okay, and if it dies after 1 turn, it's a 6/6 for 6 mana. Even Ogre has better stat than that, 6-7 for 6. And Illidan, if you don't play token decks, this card is kind of useless. It will only benefit you in token decks, such as token trade mainly. There are token shaman, I guess there are like Miracle Rogue who can use this deck as well, but it's a little too expensive for Miracle. And I think that's about it for Legendary. Let's cover epics. Amongst the epics, there are cards. A lot of epics that you just need a single card, not just all, so... Well, and there's also epic cards that you just won't use. Force of Nature, most of the time you'll just be needing one, so you can disenchant the extras. Betrayal Wrath, and no one really uses it. And as of June 11th, which is the date I'm making this, control mid-range hunters are kind of out of the meta, so this can go away. Same goes for Snake Trap, personally, although some people like using it. And same goes for Gladiator's Longbow. This card is way too slow in my opinion. It's basically Arcanine Reaper that has immune. And on mages, probably Spellbender is the only thing that you want to disenchant. Pyro, you can have... Most of decks use only one Pyro, but I think you can... Like, if you really like mage, why not have two? For Paladin, Lay on Hands, actually, this card you can disenchant the second. Same goes for Avenging Wrath. Most of Paladin decks will use just either. I also learned that most of Paladins run two swords, one Sword of Justice if they run any. But it's just personal favor. I don't think it's okay to have two Sword of Justice. These guys are way too just expensive. And synergic cards are rare. In Priest deck, Mind Games. If you just want fun games, then sure, keep it. Otherwise, disenchant. Same goes for Shadow Form. For Rogue, you can definitely disenchant Patient Assassin as well as Kidnapper. It's really not used, in my opinion. And in here, Earth Elemental can boost your deck quite a bit if the meta does not have Big Game Hunter, which about a month ago, like even now, Big Game Hunter is a little bit out of meta. It's kind of coming back, but it will come back time to time, so whenever it's out of meta, it's good to keep it. But second Doomhammer is out of question, don't ever keep it. You're not gonna be attacking with the Doomhammer for 8 consecutive turns 2 times a turn. You're gonna be just... Unless you run heal deck, which shamans don't really have any, you can just discard it. Farsight... There's some like fun decks, you can utilize it in fun decks, but otherwise don't keep it if you wanna just get better. Pit Lures and Bane of Doom is only used in like demon specific decks, which I don't know if how... Like I just saw Naxxramas's new card for Warlocks, which is summons another demon from your hand on death. I think it's like 4-drop 3/4. So I don't know how they're gonna buff, how much they're gonna buff the demon decks. So I'm not gonna say anything about Pit Lord, but Bane of Doom, it's not worth the cost in my opinion. Maybe no, it's not worth it. Twisted Nether, you're never gonna use a 2, so you can disenchant the second one, which I have already. And same can say it for Gorehal. Like you're not gonna be attacking 14 turns, more like 10 turns post turn 7. So you can disenchant the second one. Second Brawl is kind of option, like a personal favorite to it. Like some people do it, some people don't. It's up to you. Hungry Crab must go. Here, I will disenchant it right now. Even Morlock deck, like this, you only need to use this in anti-Morlock deck. South Sea Captain is 3 for 3, which is kind of bad, and pirate decks are not good, and no pirates are coming out as far as I know, so I can disenchant. Sea Giant is kind of out of meta, but have seen the deck that utilize it time to time, especially at lower ranks. So that's my response to it. Yeah, we covered all the epics. Oh, cards like Big Game Hunter, Blood Knight, and those conditional cards, you can... Most of the time you're going to be only using one, so you can just disenchant the second one as well. Let's go rare. Savage rates kind of deal damage equal to your hero's attack to minion. There has been experiments, a lot of, about the deck that utilizes savagery, which none of them has became good competitively in the past, so I don't recommend keeping these savagery. Here, let's do this disenchant. Same goes for bite, due to this reason, like it just doesn't have enough synergy. The only thing you can buff your attack is your hero power, bite, claw. If there are one more or two more cards that can utilize savagery, then maybe, but until then, no. Starfall, rarely people use it too. You can disenchant the second one as well. And, well, I will leave. All these are actually okay. It depends on what you exactly want. Maybe Explosive Shot, you can disenchant the second one. But besides that, all these are actually pretty useful in mid-range decks, at least. In here, I also learned that Nextaramas' new mage card is a secret, so secret deck might become more popular. And none of these rare cards are that bad to play. Maybe Vaporize, like I don't really like Vaporize since there are a lot of free cards, free minions that you can summon and like or just cheap minions. Depends on the deck. Like if you run freeze deck, then Vaporize might be good, but then you probably want to just run Ice Block. So I will disenchant this if I were new player. And in Paladin, Blessed Champion, don't keep it. Holy Wrath, don't keep it. Only worth it if you run giant decks. Same goes for Blessed Champion. Maybe if you run Kitty as Kitty deck, it's a little different. In Priest deck, Mass Dispel, don't ever keep 2. Shadow Menace, I rarely see. This card is way too heavy to keep 2, so I will disenchant second one. And that's about it for Priest. For Rogue, Headcrack, don't ever keep 2. And the rest is... oh, Master Disguise is pretty useless. Unless you run like Disguise deck, which is not that popular. Miracle Rogue is way more strong than Disguise deck, so... let's go to Shaman. Well, all of these are actually pretty useful, depends on Ancestor Spirit deck. I foresee this being more useful with Nextaramas, so... alright, I can understand that. In here, don't keep Felguard, unless, like I said, if the Nextaramas come up with a demon deck that can lower your, or remove your penalties for playing it, like 3/5 for 3 mana, taunt, without Battle Cry is awesome, so maybe. And all the other cards are pretty useful. Maybe Void Terror, but it's like, depends on people. I'm just picking out cards that no one really uses in competitive scene, like ever. Cards that I have not seen in past 3 months, basically. Commending Shot is probably one that I never see, so you can disenchant. And Mortal Strike, yeah, some of these cards are like Armor Smith is useful in control decks. Upgrade Mortal Strikes are useful in aggro decks, so that's good. Great Chicken, don't keep. Bloodsucker Corsair, don't keep. Let's see. Sacred Keeper? Nah, it just depends on the deck. It's a cool concept. Mana Wraith, don't keep. Alarmabot, if you need a dust to force legendaries and epics and rares, you probably don't want to keep it either. I think you can disenchant the second Ancient Mage. Like, if you know you're not going to be using Ancient Mage decks, don't disenchant both. And, oh yeah, Assassin, like, you don't use it anymore. I used to see this in, like, Test Season 1 and 2 on Control Warrior 1-turn kill deck, but not anymore, so you can disenchant them. Alright. I should have mentioned like how many epics, rares, and commons there are. Let's do it now. Like, there are 168 unique commons and 94 in expert set. You can disenchant. You can safely disenchant second naturalize. You're never gonna use 2. Mark of Nature is. I don't recommend keeping it. It's a 3 mana 4 stat card. Typically 3 mana will give you 6 stat. Or even yes, yeah, it's not worth it. Sorrow Frost actually I like it. Don't ask why. Traps are useful. Deadly Shots are good. Unleash the Hunt is good. All these are depends on, yeah, all these are worth keeping. Eye for Night, don't ever keep it. Repentance, don't keep it. Silence, don't keep 2. I think at most I've seen 1. People running 1. And Betrayal. This card actually is designed to kill Defensive Argus when it was 3/3, but that's not the case. It only has 2 attack and it's not really used. Unless you want to kill off. Nah, it's not used. And Dust Devil here, Disenchanted. I know you can get like epic. Oh my god, if you get coin turn 1 double Dust Devil and your opponent can't kill it and you just die turn 2 or 3. No, that's not gonna. Very unlikely happen if you want to build a constructed, solid constructed deck, so you don't want to keep them. Oh, and second Storm Force decks can go away as well. No one really uses Demon Fire. Drain Life probably is a better choice at this point, since there are no demon decks, unless there are demon decks being utilized again, and Noxramas you can disenchant. Same goes for Sense Demons, like well, you can safely disenchant Summoning Portal, I think. This card is way too slow. And Battle Rage, you can safely disenchant the second one at least. Same goes for Rampage. Oh, disenchant Wisp. Dun dun. Dragonhawk, which is right here. Ghoul. And well, for Seer, Cult Master is really not being used anymore, unless I don't know, like unless you're Token Paladin, which I have not seen since Test Season 1. Dread Corsair can be kept. Yeah, it can be kept. Oh, Silverman Guardian, you can disenchant. This guy is 3/3 for 4 mana with Divine Shield. I don't think it's worth it to keep them. And Ancient Brewmaster is also kind of slow. Too slow for its Battle Cry effect. I think I much rather have Yeti. Priest of Villain can go away. 6 mana, 5/4. Restore 4 is like 1.5 mana, so this guy is... Typically Battle Cry units are... Battle Cries is better than separate costs, so... Like 1 mana will heal you for like what, 3 or 2? With a card. Still, yeah, it's like 2 mana heal 4 compared to 5/4 for 4 mana. It's not worth it. Frost Elemental, although it does look cool, vanilla test wise this guy's terrible. I much rather just throw down Ogre. And same goes for Harpy, you can disenchant that. And I think that's it. Alright, thanks for watching. That's all I recommend to disenchant. Automatically, all the cards that you will probably never see in Constructed Sin, unless something drastically change in the future.